Hello, today is October 4th, 2025. As always, we'll start with our disclaimer. We'll go over our calls, make our predictions. I also want to review the longer-term picture. It's my trading plan for Monday, which is October 6th, 2025. Please remember, it's just a plan at this point. I can change it. I can be wrong. Trade at your own risk. The call for Friday was a pattern with the early low, which is this, and Monday has the early high. We said a number of things. We said unless we gapped and promptly took out this high, we should trade lower. Well, we gapped and promptly took out the high, so that was one of the options. We said this was a weak pattern and that we should trade lower than the close, even if we didn't close down, and we did that too. This is a review of what we said. We also pointed out some important dates coming the end of next week. October 10th is a Woodson turn date. His stuff has been reasonably good. There is some leeway on this, so it doesn't have to be exactly on the 10th. We'll just remember around Friday, October 10th, he has a change in trend scheduled. Well, we have a higher target, 67.44.99. If we don't gap down smartly, that's what the system calls for, which is positive. We also gapped up, hit higher highs, and closed under all the highs, which is negative, so we'll have to use the mixed signals rules, which we're going to review at the end of the tape, of the video. Just remember, when you're near an all-time high, you typically leave a failed target, even though you don't have to. It happens often. It isn't very good when you hit a new all-time high and close under all these highs. It can be a rejection of the high, but Monday's open can substitute for Friday's close. We open up here, all that negativity goes away. Right now the signals are mixed. During the day, MEJT said this drop wouldn't stick, gives us the target. Let's review the DeMark accounts. We're in bar 13 of a combo sell signal. Now again, you can go up all month and you're still in bar 13, so you can't just see this and sell. It doesn't work that way. Plus it identifies the area of a top, not the exact top, and it also can be just a consolidation. It just means you're overextended. You can be overextended and consolidate. You can drop, and if it fails, it fails in grand style, which would imply a parabolic move up. But right now, it says within a month's leeway or so, you're overextended. Now, the longer these bars, and a month is a long time, the more significant his signal is, and it gains a significance if other time frames are saying the same thing. This is the weekly chart. We now have bar 13 of a combo sell. Again, it just means you're overextended, and there is a stop loss, and it doesn't have to be exact, but that's an alignment. We have bar 12 of a sequential sell, but bar 13 can finish early, so any print Monday over this high is going to be bar 13. So we're going to have bar 13 on the monthly combo, a weekly combo, and the sequential weekly, all in alignment with each other. And the alignment adds credibility to the signal along with the duration of these bars. This is the daily chart. I think it's clear to see we have 10 bars of combo, 9 bars of sequential. If the market keeps going up by the end of the week, which is the 10th, we can easily have 13 bars of combo, 13 bars of sequential, also in alignment. This is a really rare phenomenon. It takes years to set this thing up. The monthly system, the the monthly signal was like 23, 24 months already, and just to form it. And for these to form at the same time is very unusual, and in his work has very negative connotations. Now again, negative just means you're overextended. You can consolidate. If it fails, if it isn't a consolidation or a top, you're going to rally in grand style, which would be a parabolic move up. But when all these things are in alignment, it's more likely than not that you're not going to have a parabolic move up. You're either going to consolidate or have a correction, with the optimum time being the end of this week. Now, you already have the signals on the longer time frames, and this pattern doesn't have to go to completion. So you don't have to print bar 13 for this to work. Furthermore, the last 3 bars of combo and the last 4 bars of sequential don't have to hit a higher price than this. So if we did stop here, the patterns could still trigger later without breaking anything, not breaking any of the rules. It's a sign to be cautious. Well, this is the chart I've been using. I think that's pretty clear. This was wave C. We showed the ABC. We call this the day it happened. It's correct within 3 decimal places. It's just a question of how to count the move after that. And this is the count I've been using, but I always say it's not the only count. I think this is the most likely count. I think the most likely count was this was wave 1. We have an ABC for wave 2. The Fibonacci ratios are good. And you can see that right at the top on Friday, if that's 100, wave 161.8, the fibs all work. We don't have to go lower. We don't have to get the dailies to go to completion. If we trade 1 or 2 cents higher than this, it doesn't change the fibs, and it might get us to bar 13 on the other signals. There have been all kinds of candidates for a top here. This is a candidate, although I think it might not happen till the end of the week. It doesn't have to work, but if we drop from there, you can explain it. Now, if DeMarc's stuff works, it's compatible with a significant top, not just a wave 4 down. And I don't think this rally's over. I think we're going to keep going higher for a long time. But I do think there's going to be a correction probably starting pretty soon. But what if I'm wrong? What if DeMarc is right and this can be a major top? It called it the day at the 2009 low. His stuff isn't as good as at highs as it is as low, but this count certainly is not compatible with a major top. Now, it isn't the only count, so I'm going to show a count I think is wrong, because I think this is the right count. But you always have to keep your options open. What if the DeMarc stuff works? Sentiment indicators are certainly negative at this point, too many bulls. What if his stuff is calling for a top of some significance here? There is a count that works, even though I don't think it's the right one. You're starting at the same point here, but instead of 1, 2, 3, this would be ABC, and that would be the top. For that to work, this wouldn't be the low of green C that we showed. You would have to have green A in the same place, and you'd have to have us still in wave B. And if we are still in wave B, and that's A of B, and that's B of B, and that's 100%. I mean, that's your 61.8. It's not perfect. I admit it goes over it by a little bit, and I don't think it's the right count. But the point is, the high of the the high trade doesn't have to be the high of wave C. This could be an ABC for C with C truncated, and if it ends at 66, 69, 61, it's perfect. That's not what I think is going to happen, but if it happens, I can explain it, even though I would be wrong about the interpretation. I just know it doesn't break any rules. We have to use the mixed signals rules. Here they are. Monday's pattern has the early high, which doesn't tell us where we open. There's a higher MEJT target. Unless we gap down smartly, the rules call for it to print. System typically leaves a fatal target near major changes in trend. It's not required to, it almost always will. So there's an increased chance that a higher target's not going to print. Despite that caveat, the higher target is a positive, it's a bullish. Now we gapped up, hit a higher high, but closed under those highs. If it's maintained at the open, that's a bearish sign. So we have to use the mixed signals rules. Good chance we gap and move outside the range. Now Woodson has a change in trend date, the 10th of October, which is Friday. So if the rally continues unabated, we'll have to mark sell signals on multiple time frames in alignment on the daily, weekly, and monthly charts. Don't forget, we already have sells on the weekly and monthly. The daily doesn't have to go to completion. It doesn't have to. But if it does, you're going to have a major sell in his work. This is a very rare occurrence, and if it works, it's compatible with a major top, and there's some leeway on this date of October 10th. I still don't think we're near a major top. I think we're going higher, but if I'm wrong, there's a wave count that explains why I'm wrong. So the pattern for Monday is the early high. We have a date of some significance on or around Friday the 10th. We're on some DeMark sell signals. We could trigger some more. I think this is a time to be cautious because the end of this week could be a significant change in trend, and I don't think you have to risk any money on it right now, but I think it pays to be alert for that time frame, and that is today's call.